What they find out years later will haunt you. A young couple decided to take a late-night stroll through the forest, but little did they know what awaited them. As they walked, the man felt a sense of unease, but his girlfriend dismissed his concerns. Suddenly, the man stepped on something that felt alive and squishy under his feet. Before he could react, they heard rustling from the bushes beside them. They ignored it and kept walking until they returned home. Years later, and they were watching TV when an interview with a death row inmate caught their attention. The man had been asked if he had ever came close to getting caught for his heinous crimes. The killer responded with a chilling tale. "Yes, I remember one night in the woods, a couple walked right by me. The man stepped on the body of the girl who I had just killed. I was hiding in the bushes just a few feet away, but they never saw me." The couple watched in horror as the name of one of the most notorious serial killers was revealed. His name was Ted Bundy. Follow because my next story is crazy.
Let's talk about this picture. It centers around Mr. and Mrs. Dubois. They were some of the town of Hackenshaw's favorite neighbors, but they had a dark side to them. But first, we're gonna enjoy some pizza. This is like my favorite pizza. It's from Marco's Pizza. Reminds me of Jersey because I'm from Jersey. You see, they were kind to everyone, even invited people who just moved into town for dinners. They would also have the best decorations for holidays as well. Their house would always win the contest for best decorated in the town. People just loved their Christmas lights and their Halloween decorations. In the beginning of October 1876, they started throwing parties for the kids. All the kids from around the town would come, even from outside the town. It was fun. They played games, they ate candy, and everyone just had a good time. But out of the 20 kids that came over that night, about 4 went missing. And after about 3 weeks of searching, the case went slow and they gave up. Halloween finally came around, and the contest for the best decorations, of course, went to the Dubois. That night while trick-or-treating, one of the boys in town named Sam went up to one of the decorations. When he grabbed the mask off, he realized it was one of the children who went missing. The child was stuffed and put on display in front of the yard as a decoration. The Dubois, who saw this and not wanting to get caught, grabbed the little kid inside, adding him to their collection. No one suspected a thing because the Dubois were so kind and nice to everyone. It wasn't until years later on their deathbed that they admitted at throwing parties every year to steal a child or 3 and told police that they could find all the missing children in their basement. The reason they did it was because they needed decorations realistic enough so they could always win those contests.
Real human babies are not sold at Walmart, but Rebecca Taylor didn't get the memo. A mother was checking out at Walmart with her blonde hair, blue-eyed baby when Rebecca approached her about how beautiful her child was. The mother, thinking nothing of it, laughed it off and thanked her. Rebecca began fixating on the baby's appearance and the mother got creeped out. That's when Rebecca offered her $250,000 for the baby, which obviously sent chills down the mother's spine. The mother told Rebecca that the baby was not for sale. She then got frightened and hurried to her car. That's when Rebecca went crazy. She was so worried she locked her children in her car as Rebecca tried to pry them out. Rebecca raised the offer to $500,000, said that the baby would be hers either way. Even weirder, Rebecca knew the child's name and was calling it out. Rebecca was arrested for the purchase or sale of a child in January of 2022. She later denied all allegations.
Barbie has a much creepier history than I thought. I'm going to show you some theories about Barbie that have been keeping me up at night, and I cover all sorts of creepy and true crime stuff, so follow along. In 2010, Barbie released a doll that had a camera on her necklace as well as a video screen on her back. This doll has since been discontinued, but there's a lot of rumors about what happened to this footage when it was recorded. So people have always theorized that the footage was collected and sold either by Mattel or by someone more nefarious. And it's been mentioned how easy it would have been for hackers to collect and sell all this data. The FBI even put out a statement about it. Barbie also released and discontinued the Hello doll, which could listen to children and respond with over 8,000 pre-recorded answers. A lot of parents worried that these dolls were potentially recording their children and then selling that data, but this doll also has really concerning reviews. Like, people say that the doll won't take no for an answer. Like, if she asked if you wanted to hear a story and then you said no, she would actually push back and then just tell you the story anyways. And the doll would also ask really specific and targeted questions about children, like how big their families were and if they had any siblings. Was this doll just collecting market data on children, or was it something much weirder?
This NBA player went missing for days, and the way that he was found will leave you terrified.
North 911, where's your emergency? Hello?
These are the creepiest stories in NBA history where each day they get darker and darker. This is episode 6. In 2010, Lorenzen Wright was a standout player for the Memphis Grizzlies, but tragedy struck on his way home from his ex-wife's house. The couple had only been divorced for about 5 months at the time. Wright never made it to his destination, and not a soul in the world seemed to know where he was. Both the Memphis Grizzlies and the city of Memphis offered a $5,000 reward with any information on his whereabouts. Sadly, a tragic discovery was made 10 days later. His body was found decomposing in a field. He was riddled with 11 gunshots to the head, torso, and right forearm. A 7-year investigation followed. Officers later found out that night that Lorenzen actually tried to call 911. The dispatcher reportedly could not locate him or make out what he was saying. All they could hear was gunshots. Lorenzen's ex-wife Shara, her landscaper Billy Ray Turner, and her cousin Jimmy Martin were all hauled in by the police for questioning. Martin testified in court that Shara Wright recruited him and Turner to kill Lorenzen. But this is where the story takes a shocking twist, so follow All Hail B-Ball for part 2. This NBA player went missing and was found dead, but this is a shocking twist.
Where's your emergency? Hello? I have nothing but gunshots.
These are the creepiest stories in NBA history where each day they get darker and darker. Welcome to part 2. We already learned about the tragic death of Lorenzen Wright and how his ex-wife Shara was responsible for the murder in part 1. However, this wasn't even her first attempt. Prosecutors said that Shara had previously already tried with Martin and Turner. The two men had gone to Lorenzen's apartment in Atlanta and brought guns. They reportedly broke in only to find someone sleeping on the couch that wasn't Lorenzen. They left and Shara Wright went to hatch another plan. The landscaper Turner and Shara had a romantic relationship, so she could easily manipulate what he did. After the first failed murder attempt, the group lured Lorenzen to a field. They ambushed and chased him down. Lorenzen tried to get away and jump a fence, but they shot him before he could escape. Shara Wright originally maintained a story that Lorenzen was killed in a drug deal gone wrong. But why would she want her ex-husband dead? Shara reportedly quickly went through the $1 million after his death. This trio is still in jail today. However, this is just another creepy story from the NBA. The most frightening of them all is still to come.
Not only was her ex-husband the only witness in their son Grant's mysterious death, he also destroyed the memorial on their son's grave. From this to this.
He's underneath the vehicle.
We have all of the evidence. I strongly believe Dad killed Grant, and now he is going to kill me.
It doesn't matter what you think right now.
And I know he me. I hate my dad. He has hurt me sexually, physically, and mentally.
And Gracie and I pulled up, and it was just completely, it looked like this. It was gone. It was just empty. There was a home plate there and a cross, a wooden cross someone had made, and his little name placard.
Every single day, Grant's mom Angie and his sister Gracie would visit his grave.
Those flowers were dead, and they were just laying on it. And we were in complete shock and hurt, and there was no name tag, no even name space that said that any of this area was Grant.
The day Grant died, his father said he was dragged under his truck into a ditch.
It's rolled over him and dragged him into the ditch.
However, Grant didn't have a single scratch on his body, just blunt force trauma to the back of his head. When Grant turned 18, he told multiple friends that he was going to testify in court to get full custody of his sister.
I am Grant Solomon's girlfriend. Leading up to his 18th birthday, he had told me that he wanted to expose his dad and what he had done to his sister, what he had done to Grant and his mom. And I think it's very suspicious how Grant was pronounced dead a couple weeks later and how his father was the only witness.
And that day was the first time he was alone with his father in 2 years.
So the groundskeeper was out there, and he's my friend. And so I said, what happened out here? And he said, Mr. Solomon came and told me he wanted everything cleared. And he said, so I did. I cleared it all off, and it's in a box up there at the memorial home.
Grant's beloved dog, Babby, became severely depressed after his death. A once happy 5-year-old dog grieved himself into an inoperable tumor, and 3 months later, died of a broken heart.
Ours was the only one that was completely cleared. Days after that, even the owner said, Aaron wanted it cleared, and those dead flowers were laying on it.
After Grant's father removed his memorial, he bought graves for Angie and Gracie.
We were in the counselor's office in September the 26th, telling him we would never be a family, we would never go back to him, we would never. And on October the 6th, just the next week, he had gone in and set up the payments for the plots. And he had put my name on plot 3 and Gracie's on plot 1.
Angie and Gracie were terrified.
And his on plot 4.
He's underneath the vehicle.
Okay, what color is it?
It's a white truck.
I hope none of you have to ever feel how it felt to see your name on a grave plot, not expecting it.
That's my son. It's somehow it backed up. Yeah.
It is the first time in my life I actually thought about dying. Why did God do this? I don't want to question him.
We're on an incline, and I guess he didn't have it in park or something.
He hated boxes. He was so claustrophobic, and I know he doesn't know. He's far gone from that box, but it still bothers me.
Yeah, somehow it drug him down, I think. I don't know whether it wasn't in park or what, or if it didn't engage the brake, or...
But Angie has the proof. She shows me where the black box was in Grant's car. A black box gathers driving information about a vehicle.
That black box actually shows that someone was in the driver's seat, that there was weight in the driver's seat in the last 3 seconds of the truck's drive, and that the accelerator pedal was pushed in and the steering wheel was being operated and turned sharply to the right, which matches the tire pattern. Then it was placed in park and turned off, and the weight got out of the vehicle. Grant couldn't have been the one in the last 3 seconds to get out because he was under there. So the black box told us everything. So we have all of the evidence. We just don't have an open investigation.
Just like how Grant's dog Babby was protective, Grant always tried to protect his mother and sister until the very end.
He didn't have to be a hero.
Hannah shows me her Bible, where Grant would leave notes and letters for her.
This is just an example of one of the notes. Usually would add, "I love you" times infinity. And so I have that. I got that tattooed behind my ear. So he's with me.
All the things that just such a gift that I know that whatever happened right before that, he was so happy because of her. Just so thankful that he was able to experience all of those things with Hannah. It just couldn't have been anybody else. It couldn't have been anybody else. It just was God, and it was just such a heartbreak to me for her when I had to tell her. But
I want to advocate for him and advocate for Gracie because of just the amazing human he was, and he deserves this.
Grant and Gracie and I, and then this is a picture of Grant and Hannah.
Whoever paid for everything gifted Aaron Grant's plot. In Aaron's mind, he owns it. In the state of Tennessee, by law, if a child is buried, both parents own half. So by law in the state of Tennessee, that doesn't hold. But in his mind, he believes that he owns Grant and this spot, and he can do with it what he wanted. And he wanted it cleared. Okay.
Please click the link in my bio to sign this petition to open an investigation into the mysterious death of Grant Solomon. The link in my bio also includes the GoFundMe to help Grant's mom exhume his body so he can have a proper autopsy. If you have any leads or information, please contact Angie directly on Facebook and Instagram. Make sure to sign and share this petition so he can get justice, and his sister and mother as well.
Said that we could take it slow, going to the places that we used to go. Hate rushing down through my bones, putting out the flame that we used to have. The thoughts of you, I never knew what the hell you got me into. I thought you knew. Thought of you as pure, such an innocent, happy coincidence. Hey, hey, but now I realize that I'm not into this, so I'm leaving you. Yeah, hey, hey, and
she must have been out of her head.